Hello and welcome back. I'm Joseph Hoffman, and in this lesson we're going to learn how to play the diatonic chords of B flat major, and then we'll finish with a little improvisation in B flat major. So let's come over to the piano to get started. Okay, here's the B flat major 1 octave scale, and remember, what does diatonic mean? Diatonic means it's any key that belongs to this scale. So these are all the notes that are diatonic to B flat major. Now, answer me this. Is F diatonic to the key of B flat major? The answer is yes, because F is right here. F is part of the scale. It's part of this key. So yes, it is diatonic. Is E diatonic to the key of B flat major? If you said no, you're correct. E is not part of the scale. It becomes E flat for the B flat major scale. So remember that when we are playing diatonic chords, these are the only possible notes you have to choose from, and of course extended up the octave as well. Like this C is diatonic because it's part of the B flat major scale. Now let's go through our 7 diatonic chords in root position. I'll use both hands, and you could try both hands as well if you'd like to challenge yourself, or if you'd like to just do one hand alone, that's okay too. So try playing our 1 chord. We'll use root position chords using fingers 1, 3, and 5. And let's name them out loud. 1 chord, B flat major. Now, when we come up a step, you might be tempted to go to B next, because it looks like, oh, that's the next step up. But remember, B is not diatonic, so that's not the first step above B flat. In our scale, today, the next diatonic pitch, a step up, is C. And instead of playing C major, we have to play C minor, because remember, E is also not diatonic to B flat. It becomes an E flat. So remember that we have to think of the notes of our diatonic B flat major scale. So if everything steps up, B flat steps up to C, D steps up to E flat, F steps up to G, that actually puts us on a C minor chord. So let's say C minor 2 chord. Now go up another step and we land on a D minor 3 chord. Try this with me and repeat. D minor 3 chord. Now, on your own, can you figure out what the 4 chord would be? Remember, everything's going to step up, but if you come to an E or a B, remember you have to flat them. Here's what you should have gotten. This is the 4 chord, and it's E flat major. So repeat after me. E flat major 4 chord. Good. Then we're going to step up again. And remember, we can't go to E. We have to go up the next step to F. F major 5 chord. Repeat after me. Good. Then step up again to G minor 6 chord. Now, can you figure out the next one? Step up to the 7 chord. And remember, if there are any B's or E's, you have to flat them. You should have landed here on an A diminished 7 chord, A, C, E flat. And then we'll go up one more step to bring us back home, B flat major 1 chord. Good, let's do all of those one more time from the bottom. Play and name them with me. B flat major 1 chord, repeat. C minor 2 chord, D minor 3 chord, E flat major 4 chord, F major 5 chord, G minor 6 chord, A diminished 7 chord, B flat major 1 chord. Now press pause, and on your own I'd like you to try every single one of those chords one more time on your own, name them out loud, and then press play to go on. Now let's try our heart and soul chord progression in the key of B flat. So let's start with the right hand. play the 1 chord. Now, can you find and play for me the 6th chord? But remember, instead of jumping up to the 6th chord, we're going to go down to the 6th chord. So show me where the 6th chord would be, the nearest 6th chord below this 1 chord. Well, if this is the 1 chord, we can step down to the 7 chord, then one more step to the 6th chord is on G. So there's our 6th chord. There's 1 chord to 6th chord. Then if we go another skip down, that brings us to the 4 chord. We can't go to E because it's not diatonic. We have to go to E flat. So there's our 4 chord. And then where do you think the 5 chord would be? Show me on your piano. If E flat is the 4 chord, F major is the 5 chord. Now let's try all of those in sequence. The 1 chord, there, B flat major. Then go to 6th chord, G minor. Then 4 chord, E flat major. 5 chord, F major. Now press pause and work on that chord progression. If you want to get fancy, with some different rhythms. Feel free to experiment, but get comfortable with those chords on your own, then press play to go on. Now let's add in the left hand. Left hand finger 1 will be on B flat. Then we skip down to G with finger 3. Finger 4 plays E flat. Then we step up to F. B flat, G, E flat, F. And then we can put the hands together, kind of like this. Good. Press pause and work on that chord progression, hands together, then press play to go on. Now, there are lots of songs in B flat major. One that I was thinking of today that uses a chord progression from B flat major is Katy Perry's song Roar. It uses the 1 chord, then the 2 chord, then the 6th chord, and that drops down to the 4 chord. I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, scared to rock the boat and make a mess, but I sat quietly, agreed politely. See, isn't that a great chord progression? 1, 2, and then 6, 4. On your own, I hope you'll experiment with creating some of your own chord progressions in B flat major. Now, let me show you one other way that you can improvise in the key of B flat major using 2 simple chords. With your left hand, I'd like you to play the 1 chord, and then we're going to play the 4 chord. But because you know that that's a big jump, we're going to invert the 4 chord, take that B flat from top, put it on the bottom, which is a much smoother way that you're familiar with doing the 4 chord. Remember, 1 chord, 4 chord, where we've just taken that B flat, put it on the bottom for a smooth hand position change. And this makes a really nice chord progression, just going back and forth between 1 and 4. Try it with me. 1 chord, 4 chord, and then your right hand can make up a melody while your left hand plays this chord progression. See how I was just using the notes of the B flat major scale and those 2 chords. I was just making up a melody, okay? So on your own, try that out this week too. Just improvise and get comfortable in that key. It's a really beautiful key to play. Nice work learning the diatonic chords of B flat major today. On your own, please review these diatonic chords along with the B flat major scale and arpeggio. and then have some fun improvising and creating your own original music in B flat major. Thanks for watching and learning with me, and happy practicing!
You laid me down, but I got up. Hey! Already gonna start to fuss. You hear my voice, you hear that sound. My cry is gonna shake the ground. You laid me down, but I got up. Get ready, 'cause I've slept enough. I want to eat, I want to play.